Hey, what's happening everyone? Sir James coming at you guys with another video, and today I'm here to provide you with my review for Arslan, The Warriors of Legend. This game is pretty much a tactical action title where it's based on a novel, manga, and anime IP known as the Heroic Legends of Arslan. In this story, it is telling of a young crowned prince of Paris known as Arslan, as he is forced out of his kingdom when his father, the king, is betrayed and defeated, and his domain is conquered. Arslan and his few companions must reassemble an army and fight amongst overwhelming odds to regain his throne and liberate his kingdom. And all I gotta say is that even though I may have never seen the manga or anime or even read the books, the storyline for this title was deep, exciting, and epic. Going over the graphics, visually this game is perfect. Seeing how they captured everything in a more anime style toned is pretty much probably the best way they could go about this title. Making it something that's different looking from Dynasty Warriors and Samurai Warriors, and to make it its own thing, of course borrowing gameplay elements, but adding an epic storyline along with it is pretty much picture perfect, and I don't think I could ask for anything more. But all the characters, the landscapes, the models, and of course even during the art pieces where you have some slight animation as it's telling the story throughout your experience, was really good to look at, and just probably one of the better games that I've played in such a long time. Now gameplay wise, if you've ever played any of the Dynasty Warriors, Samurai Warriors, or any type of game where you get to literally beat up and kill thousands of soldiers on a battlefield, then you should feel right at home for this title. Of course, it's not a complete copy, but for the most part it is, but they do add some of their own twist. I do like the fact that you're not always controlling one character at any given time, because when you're playing the story mode, sometimes situations are going to be different. You might have ambushes awaiting, or you might have reinforcements, and oftentimes during an actual battle, you're going to be jumping into different characters when the right time comes. So it allows you to experiment with all the different characters in the game. You don't get to use all the characters in the campaign mode, but of course whatever it is that you don't get to try to use, there is the option for free mode, which you could take control of one of either 15 to 16 different characters, level them up. Each character has at least 3 different weapon types, and of course you can combine these weapon types to perform combo attacks, and of course each character has their own unique super attack, which I thought was nicely done. Of course, you do have the option to have a Couch Buddy 2-player mode, and you could even take your experience in online. Of course, you are able to find recipes inside the game which you could use in free mode to either increase your health, your attack speed, or just your attack in general. Anyways, if you're familiar with those titles, then again, you're going to be right at home for this. Now, taking a moment to talk about the sound design in terms of voice acting and soundtrack, everything in these two departments were great. First off, having a game like this that is heavily focused on storytelling, you gotta have great voice actors, and my honest opinion, everyone who portrayed a voice in this game did a fantastic job. I don't have one complaint at all. And of course the soundtrack was great. I do like the fact that when you happen to stumble upon one of the rush portions in the game, is that the soundtrack changes to that moment in time to make it seem more epic. It has a little bit more of a rockin' music that kicks place. But the sound design in terms of voice actors and the soundtrack were great. They mixed well completely together, especially during gameplay when you're using supers and rush mode. But again, everything was top notch, and I couldn't be happier. Now, going over the game's lifespan, this definitely has high replayability. First off, let's talk about little collectibles and knickknacks in the game. In the game, there are skill cards in which you could acquire, and of course there's also hidden recipes which you could also use during free mode, and pretty much all these are scattered and hidden through pods or just hidden accesses that you get to find even accidentally on the battlefield. So if you're one of those kind of people that like to collect these different things, then you're definitely going to have a replayability there trying to find each and every skill card in the game. What's cool is that you could even combine these skill cards to form new cards, so there's definitely a lot of mixture and involvement there. Again, the game does offer about 15 to 16 playable characters, and each character that you can level up. Of course, all the different characters do have elemental weapons, weapons, so in order to upgrade the characters, you have to use them quite often in the characters, most of which start off with only one basic weapon, but the more you use the character, you'll have access to 2 to even 3 different weapons on the battlefield, and of course you could also change up the elemental weapons as well. So pretty much leveling up all these characters are going to take some time, playing with a couch buddy, or even taking your experience online, and of course maybe going back to replay the story mode on a higher difficulty level. Overall, there's just a lot of things to do in the title that's definitely going to keep you occupied for many hours, days, maybe even months. Now, going over the innovation, was there anything new here? Was this something that we already seen before? Of course, they did borrow gameplay elements from Dynasty Warriors, which I have no complaints there, because after all, there is an epic war that is raging and something bigger that's going to commence when the second game comes out. But of course, they did heavily focus on the story mode, which I thought was really well done. I was kind of worried that was going to be more story than gameplay, but it's actually balanced out quite a lot. And I do like the fact that they did make you switch characters quite often throughout the battlefield, so you could test out and even level up those characters. That way you have a little bit less to do, but again, there's still a lot of replay value to be had. But overall, this game was a lot of fun. There was a couple minor bugs that I had with my experience. For example, there was one portion in the very beginning, actually on part 1, where I had to incorporate a rush mode to break through a barrier. However, when Arslan went to the designated area, nothing happened, and I had to go back and redo the rush in order to break through the barrier once again. But again, it was a minor bug here and there which can easily be fixed with a patch, but in the end, I'm going to give this game a 10 out of 10. It was a lot of fun. I was invested in the story mode, and I can't wait for the second one, and I hope it comes out maybe later this year. But anyways, until then, I am Sir James from GamerFusion.com, where we empower your gaming.